What's going on, everybody? Welcome to VIR. We are here today with the GT350. Now, if you watched my last video, you know last time out with this was a nightmare. So changes I made over the winter. I did a video of making myself a underdrive alternator pulley. Link to that below. That should be cool because I was having a bunch of alternator issues, and that should slow down the alternator spinning about 25%. So hopefully the alternators aren't an issue. I also just did the warm-up session, and I'm pretty excited because the misfire did not happen. The only thing I did over the winter, I dove into all the IMRC stuff, and if you've watched all my videos, like, I always complain about a misfire on this thing. They all checked out good, so I dove into it a little bit further. This car came with a an N gauge, and the N gauge can do a crank relearn. I probably should have did this like way back when I first got the car. I remember asking the people I got the car from, because they had the transmission out. Anytime you do major work on these things, you're supposed to do a crank relearn. So I did the crank relearn, and that was the first session. Now granted, it was the warm-up session. I still went, you know, 8/10, I'll call it. Not a single misfire. Check engine light did not come on, so I'm pretty excited about that. I think I better knock on wood when I say this. I think I finally kind of got past some of those like annoying issues. Temperatures, everything were fine. I relocated the battery back to here. Video of that down below as well. So honestly, I really didn't do much to the car performance-wise. It's set up exactly how it was. So same old tires. These Sport Cup 2s now have, I don't know how many track days on them. So yeah, that's really about it for today. Just turn some laps, make sure the car runs good, get re-comfortable in the car. Because if you've ever been in a car that just always gives you issues, it's kind of hard to like really be comfortable in it. Is that it? I'm gonna try and roll across the dyno. So today I'm running TTU, just because I don't have a dyno sheet really. So as far as like classing goes, you know, don't expect to do anything special. I probably will dyno because I do want to do Hyperfest if the car's good, and actually try and class for Hyperfest. I'm thinking either TT3. I think I can squeeze this into like TT3, maybe TT2. But yeah, we'll see. So hopefully today's a fun day. Alright guys, as you just saw, I was on the dyno. I did my numbers. So my 7-run average is 443, peak of a 442 horsepower. So I'm right around what this car I think should be making. Something that's kind of cool. I did these on our 6th gen Camaros, where I put an extra hole in our compressible splitter rod. I'm gonna put my foot under it to lift it. And there you go. So now the splitter kind of drops back down to normal height. And it's a really good thing I did that, because the guy on the dyno said I cleared by like 1/8 of an inch. So anyways, I guess that'll be my way to let people know. I think that's gonna be like a running change on our GT350 splitters, is adding that extra hole and shipping them with those little clevis pins to lock the splitter up. Nice little feature that makes it nicer loading your car on and off the trailer, along with the dyno actually. I think that's about it. Now that I have the dyno, I can actually look into where I will class. You could play with tires and everything. I would like to try and class in TT3, but depending what tire I go with, I gotta be 3,800 pounds, which I'm close to that anyways. TT2, then I end up in the situation where it's like I gotta run like a Hoosier, and that's kind of why I didn't like ST. Unless you're buying Hoosiers every weekend, it's like, you know, you're not gonna be at the front. So I would like to remain on a street tire. I'm gonna be looking at running some other classes. I'm gonna look into running some SCCA time trial stuff. I was here last weekend checking that out. That seemed kind of fun. I would probably fall right into like a Max 2 with this thing. But anyways, that's about it at the moment. Next session's in a little bit. The first time session. Track, sun just kind of came out, so track might still be a little bit slow, but it'll just be nice to get out there and get some good laps. right, guys, another session in the books. Misfire was not an issue this time, so thumbs up there. The car pushes like crazy. The tires, I think, are just like done. You can see there's like, I don't know if you can see that. But again, this weekend's kind of just getting out here turning laps. The one thing I did that session was I unhooked the dyno plug. That gets rid of all the nannies except for ABS, and that was a bit interesting. It caught me out a couple of times. Undecided if I'm going to leave it out or plug it back in and kind of hold the button. So I'll tinker with that. But let's see. Got down to a 206.0. Not my greatest, but all things considered, with some traffic and, you know, still first real session. Can't complain, so we'll see what we do next session. All right, guys, so quick little data while we're here on break. You can see, so blue line was my morning, 205.999. Best ever I did was a 204.9. So about a second behind. Now, if you notice, if we come all the way down here and I click on it, you can see we're up about 6, almost 7/10 of a second over here. I'm entering the S's a little bit quicker, but you can see I'm still kind of trying to regain a little bit of comfort going through them. I believe that's turn 10. Here's Oak Tree. And then must have ended up catching somebody, and you can see I gave up almost that entire second right here. So yeah, all things considered, happy with the car so far. Next session's in a little bit. See if we can get back into the fours. Alright, guys, when did you know it? Electrical issues again. I was sitting in grid and it gave me that charging system thing, but then it went away like very quickly. I'm out on track. I think I'm halfway through lap 1. At some point, advanced track shuts off, and it did that thing where the everything goes blank, and that's what it was doing before with the voltage regulator on the alternator. Now, the alternator that's in the car, if you watch the pulley video, it's a little bit of a Frankenstein. It's the original alternator where the voltage regulator went bad. Then I put in the remanufactured one, but the bearings in that alternator seized up. So I took the regulator from the one, soldered it into the other. So I do have a new Ford alternator. After doing a handful of alternators, I can get it done in like 30-40 minutes or so. So gonna throw that in. We got one session left today. Hopefully that's it. So we'll see. All right, and if you didn't see the pulley video, you know, here's the two side by side. You can see how much bigger it is, much lighter as well. The belt, it's giving me a chance to inspect the belt, and the belt looks freaking, I don't know how good this, there you go. It looks perfect. So I got the pulley, the ribs, the spacing, I think everything good. So I'm gonna transfer my pulley over. That isn't the issue. I think it's the alternator itself. So I'll get this in, and next session's in a little bit. So we're packed up on the way home. Got my pit crew here. Oh, the light is probably right behind you. Probably terrible. And we got future pit crew riding along. So I was able to get down to a 205.5, best of the day, but I should probably be on this angle. Best of the day, so happy about that. About a half second, 6/10 off of the best I've ever done. Bunch of bright sides. Some positive takeaways are that last session I ran how many laps? 6, 7, 8 maybe, just like full out. And the car didn't do anything. I better what's the word, like knock on wood on this one again. Next time out I'm probably gonna have some sort of issue, but yeah, finally had a good session with no misfire, no electrical whatever, so it was fun just being able to just go. I don't think I've ever had that on this car.
If you were in TT3, you would have been 4th.
But if I was in TT2, I would have been 3rd.
Oh, you would have been 3rd.
For anybody who cares,
TT5,
I ended up 6th.
First.
What was I, 6th out of 9 on TT? Yeah. If I was in TT5, I would have won. Yeah. So, anyways, much better track day than last time. Alternator pulley belt looked great. You kind of saw that earlier in the video. Battery relocation, but I mean that was kind of, shouldn't really have anything wrong on that. The car is starting to not start when it's hot. Don't know if the starter's kind of getting a little funky. The battery having to run through a much longer cable, is it just kind of losing that tiny bit of extra voltage or something. So might kind of dive into that, put maybe some sort of like heat shield or I don't know. But I think that's about it. Do you need to say anything? No. Okay. As always, guys, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next one.